At the government meeting, we listened to the Prime Minister and János Boka, Minister for European Union Affairs, report on the EU summit. The most important topic and debate at the EU summit was the war loan to be granted to Ukraine by the European Union. Hungary succeeded in achieving its goal here, as despite the Commission's original proposal and the strong German support behind it, the European capital market has not yet been completely flooded, since it is obvious that the use of seized and frozen Russian assets, after European competitiveness, which the Commission has already successfully destroyed, would have destroyed the European capital market. Hungary has also committed itself not to take out a loan and not to join the joint EU loan, which is why 24 states are taking out loans and providing war loans to Ukraine within the framework of enhanced cooperation, while Hungary, together with the Czech Republic and Slovakia, is staying out of this war loan program. We believe that this is also contrary to Europe's interests. Europe should not be financing war, but supporting peace. The United States peace efforts offer a real, tangible opportunity for peace and peacemaking. If Europe were to stand behind the United States in this, if it had not already participated in this process and closed the channels of communication with Russia, it would now be unable to mediate between the warring parties. If this is how things have turned out, then at least the new U.S. administration must be supported in its efforts to achieve peace. We find it particularly worrying that statements are now being made, and this has been confirmed several times by the NATO Secretary General, that 8 EU member states are prepared to send troops to Ukraine for peacekeeping purposes. Unfortunately, there is still no peace, and what Europe is doing will not promote the cause of peace. Sending troops and soldiers is definitely not appropriate at this time. The European Union has decided to stop buying Russian gas from October 1st, 2027, even if someone has a long-term contract, as Hungary has with Russia. We dispute this decision, partly because the European Union itself considered this to be a matter of sanctions requiring unanimity. This was how it was presented in 2022, when the Hungarian Prime Minister vetoed it, and then Hungary and, behind our backs, Slovakia and Austria were granted exemptions. So the European Union's own legal service, the Commission, and the Commission's leadership itself considered that this required a unanimous decision. Now they are trying to circumvent this, which is why we are challenging it in court. Any independent court would clearly make such a decision based on what has been said. But here there is not much difference between the Commission and the court, so it is as if one team were also providing the referee for a match, and in that case one can hardly expect overly fair refereeing. Therefore, the case is at least doubtful, because legally it would be clear that this is a sanctioning measure that violates unanimity. But the judges are not independent. They are the unlimited servants of the European Commission, or at least its servants with minimal restrictions. There are some transgressions by the Commission that even the European Court of Justice might not accept, but they would have to be very serious transgressions, and the question is whether the court would classify this as such. But since this is how things have turned out, we should not be talking about who is willing to send soldiers on water, at sea, on land, or in the air, but rather about whether, if there is peace and security guarantees are needed, there may be others besides the Americans who are willing to contribute from Europe. But that is not where we are at the moment. From this point of view, the NATO Secretary General's previous rhetoric is particularly dangerous war rhetoric, which does not lead to peace, but to escalation.